I believe once we reach a certain level of spiritual maturity, we become able to see people as they really are. And many times it's negative. Now, if you're not a spiritual person, you probably won't be able to relate to what I'm about to say. So you probably just want to scoot on over to another video, because if you're not spiritual at all, or if you don't believe in spirituality, then you're probably not going to get anything out of this video. Now, here in Texas, there's a lot of spirituality. There's a lot of spirituality everywhere, but spirituality is quieter here in Texas. And it's a mixture of all different types of spirituality. Here in Texas, you have Christianity, which is predominant, but you also have lots of Satan worshipers, lots of witchcraft, warlocks. And I would suggest, before moving to Texas, especially once again into the deep south of Texas, southwest Texas to be specific, is to bring your God with you, because you're going to need it. You're going to need him, you're going to need it, you're going to need your God with you. I'm no evangelist. I am not trying to persuade you to become a Christian. But I will suggest that whatever form of spirituality that you believe in, that suits your understanding, be serious about it. Because the people of Southwest Texas are serious about their spirituality. And if you don't have any spirituality, you're going to run into problems here. And I would even go as far as to say, well, I'm a Christian, so I think it's best for everyone to be a Christian. But Christianity doesn't suit everyone. At least everyone doesn't agree with Christianity. They don't believe that it suits them. And I would say it's better to whatever God you worship is to be serious about it, deeply rooted in it. As a Christian, I know that there's witchcraft and there's witches and warlocks, but I don't actually give them any respect. I don't actually have much regard for them, put it like that, because I see them as petty. You know, I know some witches, I know some females that have claimed and confided in me to be a witch. And the things they do is, it's not like they have any type of real power. They don't have any type of real power. I mean, they're good. Many times they become very good at manipulating people. They're very good liars. They're very good at instigating problems and um, confusion, creating confusion. But you know they don't have any divine powers like they want um, people to believe they have. It's just good old fashioned manipulation, and they tend to be very petty people as well, and very easily to be manipulated and controlled themselves. I noticed like a lot of people that have hatred towards other people often have hatred towards themselves as well. They're miserable, so basically they're just trying to make other people miserable, and they want to, they've been suppressed, or they've been controlled and manipulated all their lives, so they're just desperately trying to control and manipulate others. you know that's because to them that's like moving up in the food chain to make somebody else miserable. And I give you an example. I had a friend, and I really liked her. She was much older than I am, and most of my friends were older than me, and I just have a tendency of getting along better with older people, and I think that's one of the reasons, because I'm pretty laid back myself, and I don't like drama at all. I like pretend drama. I'm one of those people that, if I really get to know you, I'm kind of feisty, and I might joke around, or, just that pretend type of drama type of thing. But nothing crazy, nothing vulgar, nothing outrageous or anything like that. But I don't like real life drama at all. And so I think that's part of the reason why me and people that's 10, 20 years older than I am, we tend to hit it off better than people my own age. And, but it was one thing about her. Well, it was several things about her, actually. But one of my, I would say, one of my faults in me is that I don't care about a lot of things. As long as I have peace and quiet, and, no crisis going on, I'm just laid back. It's not much that I care about outside of that, outside of myself, outside of my relationship with God, outside of my family, outside of my personal property, things like that. But like gossiping, worrying about what other people are doing, that never really interests me. Even when I was young, even when I was very young, I never really was interested in. I mean, like if someone was doing well, someone was, just regular type of things. If somebody's in any type of crisis or something like that, anything I could do to help. But as far as like getting into other people's personal business, I don't care about that. And but my friend, she would gossip. Okay, but that was her gossiping, so I didn't care. And I know that she liked to lie. I mean, it didn't have to be any reason to lie. I think she just liked to practice lying. And once again, I didn't even care about that, because that was on her. We had a type of relationship. I considered her a friend. We did different things for each other. If she needed something, I would help her out. If I needed something, she would help me out. She was a generous type of person. She would surprise me with a gift sometimes. Sometimes I would surprise her with something that she liked. But I just noticed she lied a lot. And sometimes I would ask her husband, to verify if she was telling the truth. And honestly, I liked her husband better than I liked her. But they were married, so, it was like a package deal. And, some people are kind of funny about a woman being friends with a husband. But I consider them both my friends. But I like being friends with her husband more than I like being friends with her, for the simple fact that, for one, I had more in common with her husband. We talked about the military. We talked about mechanics. Um, he was like a no nonsense type of guy, and he was like laid back. He didn't like drama. She liked drama. He didn't, and I just felt like he could be trusted more than she could. But even though there were some things I liked about her as well, but there was lots of things about her that I didn't like. And he didn't have the same traits as his wife did. His wife liked to lie. His wife liked a lot of drama. But they both are my friends. And I'll give you an example about the drama. Another thing, before I get into that, everyone that I knew that knew her were unstable, underhanded type of human beings. So it was like a whole little nest of them. They liked drama. They kept up a lot of drama all the time. And, just stupid stuff. And with me, I feel like, 40, 50, 60-year-old people should be doing something more constructive than just dealing with all type of stupid type of drama all the time. Somebody said this, I didn't like this about that person, just really trivial type of things. So that was another thing I didn't like, because I just knew it was a matter of time that I was going to run into some of her friends that I didn't want to run into. But one example of another thing reason why I didn't trust her very much, she has a daughter that she don't get along with. And I mean, to the point where they're arguing and fighting and cussing each other out. And this is what she tells me. This is her side of the story. I don't know exactly how much of it is true or not, because I was never present. Thank goodness for that. And she also told me that her daughter tried to push her down the stairs. Now, okay, mind you, I'm not talking about young people, which is unacceptable across the board. If you're 4 years old and you're big enough and strong enough to push somebody down the stairs, that's wrong. But I expect people because I'm not talking about children. I'm not talking about young people. Her daughter is like 40, I think 46, 47 years old. And my friend is, I don't know how old she is. Like I said, everything she says you have to take with a grain of salt. She's somewhere between 73 and 78 years old. So she clearly don't get along with her daughter. Her daughter is like an accident waiting to happen. This is what they've told me. They've given her vehicles, they've given her trucks, they've given her cars. The last time I heard, they gave her an RV, and she crashed all of these things. This is what they tell me. She destroyed all of them. But like I said, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just a friend that stops by sometimes, hang out, have a beer, a glass of wine, And most of the time, I don't stay longer than 20, 30 minutes because it's like our relationship. I consider her a real friend, but I didn't live nearby. So when I came by, I was like always on my way to somewhere else. But I liked stopping by. I like having a couple adults to, just hang out with for a few minutes, have a drink or two, and go home. So most of the time, all the drama that she was sharing with me, it's just, I didn't care nothing about it. But see, one thing I had to constantly tell her, repeatedly tell her, don't try to introduce me to anybody. Because for one, all her friends are crazy. And for two, I didn't want to meet any of them. And there were several times where she tried to like kind of make me interact with different people in a sneaky type of way. And we actually fell out about that. And we didn't talk to each other. I didn't see her for a year intentionally. And when we finally did speak to each other again, we kind of missed each other and everything, but we kind of went back to our little routine, because we both enjoyed the friendship, having somebody, well, in her case, she had somebody pleasant to be around sometimes. If she needed something, she had somebody she could call, and vice versa. But I just didn't like the drama. And long as the drama wasn't directed at me and didn't involve me, so I didn't care about it. I didn't care about her lies. I didn't care about the drama. I didn't care about her crazy friends. As long as I didn't have to be bothered with them, it was cool. But one day she confided in me and she told me she was a witch. Now, as I said from the beginning, I don't have much regards for warlocks and witches because I know they don't have any real power. They don't have any real divine power. In my experience, I've found that they're mostly just petty people with petty issues, and and they play these little games. But at the same time, I don't want to spend no time with them. Because one thing about people that do practice witchcraft, I don't know if it's across the board with Satan worshipers across the board, but one thing they do practice is poison. So I would never want to eat anything that a person that claims to be a witch or that I suspect to be a witch, I wouldn't want to eat any of their food or drink anything from them because that's one of their that's part of their craft is putting different things in your food. And I noticed one thing about, we live here in Presidio County, and I noticed that we also have a town called Presidio that's 20 miles away from us. And I haven't made any friends. As much as I've tried, I haven't made any friends in Presidio. And I've dealt with a lot of harassment, a lot of, I guess you'd call it shunning, where people just being rude or not speaking to you at all, things like that. And fortunately, I'm the type of person, it doesn't really bother me because, I don't have to be liked by everybody. But I find it kind of strange that, like, the people, they want to be friendly with you to the point where they can just kind of keep up with what you're doing, but they don't really want to be your friend, if you know what I mean. But on the other hand, I have people always offer me something to eat. I have people giving me candy on holidays. They don't invite me to dinner, but they will give me food and have it prepared for me and packed and ready to go, things like that. I have people offering, you know, raw food, candy, um, fixing dinner plates for me and stuff like that. And it's like, well, this is a perfect example to me, is where you, at some point in your life, you have to look at the big picture. On one hand, nobody's interested in friendship with you, but on the other hand, you have people offering you food. Okay? Now, when I say nobody is trying to be my friend, I have friends, but I have made maybe 3 or 4 friends in Presidio, but the vast majority of the people of this little small town um, basically don't want to have anything to do with me. They don't want to do business with me. They don't, I don't eat in the restaurant. My son and I, we do not eat in the restaurants of Presidio, Texas, because of the rudeness. And it just, I don't even have time to go into it, but just the waitress, I'm not talking about the customers, I mean the waitresses being rude, not wanting to serve us properly. I'll give you one example. This one restaurant, my son, he really liked El Patio. And I just noticed, like, the several last times, we used to go there all the time. It was like something we did once a week. But I noticed the last few times we were there, it was like everybody else was getting extra water. The waitress would check on the table 3 or 4 times. And when we would be there sitting at our table, the waitress would take our order, she'd bring our food, and that would be the last time we see her. No extra water, no checking to see how we were doing. I would even have to get up from the table to get the check. And if I wanted water, I was trying to make her job as easy as possible. I would take my glass to the counter and ask her if I could have some water. So we had some incidents, just the lack of service, the rude attitude, the nasty attitude, the cold shoulders and stuff like that. It's like, I don't have to spend my money to be treated like this. I'm not going to spend my money to be treated poorly. And it was another restaurant that we both like. Because actually, there's only, I would say, 2 main restaurants. And we have a hotel that has a restaurant inside it. So I would say that's 3. There's another small restaurant. And there's a couple of others, like mom and pop restaurants. Well, they all family owned, but there's a couple of other smaller restaurants. But there's 2 main restaurants that I would say. El Patio was one of them. And so we stopped going to there because I was like, I don't need a headache. Money spends anywhere. I don't have to spend my money at a place where I'm not treated well and I'm not welcome. So we stopped going to El Patio. And this other restaurant that we were very fond of, and I must admit, there were some young girls there that they were very sweet and they were very nice to my son Shelby, and I enjoyed that too. But I always had problems with most of the people of the town of Presidio. So when this one incident happened, I just said, you know what, forget it. I'm not taking no more chances. The food that I consume, I do not want it to be prepared by people that don't like me for whatever reason. So I had ordered a grilled cheese sandwich for myself, and I had most likely I had ordered catfish for my son. And my grilled cheese sandwich was messed up. And what I mean by that, the grilled cheese sandwich, the bread wasn't even toasted. It was barely, you can tell like maybe it hit the skillet for half a second. But basically it was just white bread with cheese in the middle. The cheese wasn't even melted. And I just decided, if a professional restaurant can't get a grilled cheese sandwich right, it's either one or two things. Somebody has, no, really, it's not even one or two things. The only thing is, the only way you can mess up a grilled cheese sandwich is to do it on purpose. There's no way a professional cook or somebody that's been cooking for the past 2 days can mess up a grilled cheese sandwich. I mean, in all honesty, probably most people could actually, if they had to, or if they was paid to, they could probably prepare a grilled cheese sandwich blindfolded, because that's just how easy it is, without exaggeration. I wouldn't suggest doing it, but I think if I actually had to, I could grill a grilled cheese sandwich blindfolded. So when I got my grilled cheese sandwich, and I opened it up and I saw that the bread wasn't really toasted at all and the cheese wasn't even melted, I decided that would be the last time that we patronize that restaurant as well. So now we don't go to any restaurants in the little city of Presidio, Texas. We did go to Subway, but I mean the reason why Subway was the exception. I almost forgot about Subway, but Subway was the exception because you can see them preparing your food. All the food is together. They prepare right there in front of you. But we basically stopped going there too, just to be safe. We do get some food sometimes from the basically once a week we will order some food from the deli or purchase some food from the deli inside the grocery store. But once again, the food is not individually prepared specifically for us. So I believe it's safe to do business at the deli and the grocery store. So back to my friend. So like I said, it was a lot of things about her that I kind of noticed that was negative. There was a lot of negative things about her, but there was also a lot of positive things about her. And then from my position, it really didn't matter because I didn't care, and I wasn't like in the type of relationship where whatever she had going on was going to affect me, But when she told me she was a witch, I decided that, I probably should have just cut this friendship off a few years ago, because I mean, who needs it? I don't need to be bothered with anything negative, anything strange, and like I said, I don't like drama. And see, and there's one thing I used to do when I would stop to go see her. I never told her I was coming. So in a way, I was going against my own rule because I don't allow anyone to come see me unannounced. I think that should be the way with anyone. I think that should be the way with any relationship. No one, I mean, even family members should not be able to just drop in on you unannounced. Maybe in some situations, but for the most part, no one knows what state of readiness you're in during the day. You know, no one knows what time you get up. No one knows what you have to do in the morning. No one knows if you're dressed or not. No one knows what time you brush your teeth, or if you're on a business call, or if you're balancing the budget, or if you're in the middle of cooking dinner for your family. They don't know what state you're in. No, now from my perspective, and basically this is how my entire family is. I mean, yeah, sure, you call first, and if I'm not busy, come on by, hang out. Got a pool table in the basement, hang out all day long. But as far as just showing up unannounced, unexpected, no. No, you don't do that. You don't know what grown people are doing. You don't know, what they're busy, or even if they're going to be at home. And so I never let people drop in on me unexpectedly. And yet I used to drop in on her, I would say semi unexpectedly, because she knew that I would probably come by like once a week, but she never knew when I was coming. And I did that on purpose because I knew how sneaky she was. And I wanted to make sure she wasn't able to arrange anything by knowing that I was coming, to arrange me to, because I didn't want to meet her friends. I didn't want to meet any of her male friends. I didn't want to meet any of her female friends. I didn't want to meet anybody for romantic interests. I didn't want to meet anybody for anything, any type of friendship. And in the past, she had tried to, introduce me to different men and women and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want to meet anybody, because most of the people that I knew that knew her, they liked that drama. And I just didn't really have anything in common with them. So it's like, why bother with the friction when you don't have to? So, yeah, when she told me she was a witch, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Because, it made sense to me because, to my understanding, the way she behaves is very characteristic of someone that's of some type of satanic belief. For a woman to be 74, 75, or whatever age she was or is, incredibly immature, and she loved drama, and to me it was like, I don't know, up until the point where I moved to Texas, I always kind of felt like everyone reached a certain maturity after a certain age. And for the most part, before I moved to Texas, that was true. I have met some people, I have known some people that were 40, 50 years old and still pretty immature, in my opinion. But once I moved to Texas, then I realized it's a lot of people that's 50, 60, 70 years old, and they just as immature. They so immature that you don't even want to be bothered with them. If you have any type of life, like if you're mature and you living your life and you're taking care of your business, and you're just taking care of your household, or you're taking care of your spouse, or you going to school, you holding down a job, you just doing you, whatever it is you do, you don't have time for these people. You don't have time for the drama. Oh, I'm not going to get into the lies and stuff. I mean, I've had people, you know, just all kind of lies about me and saying that I've done different things. And it is another thing that's funny to me about being here in West Texas, Southwest Texas. Like some of the women. Before I say that, I will say this. I'm 58 years old, okay? So even if you lie on me, or even if you just, just make something up or whatever, almost anything you can say about me, I can take as a compliment because I'm like, oh wow, you think I have that type of energy? you know, I've had people tell me, I've done such and such a thing. I did this and that. And I was like, wow, I hadn't done something like that since 2005. I was like, and then some people worried about me like trying to mess around with their husband or something like that. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, like I said, at my age, it's like, I mean, I'm not old. I'm not old as sin, but at 58, I don't have really the energy to be pursuing any type of foolish endeavors. I mean, that's just me. I mean, yeah, if that's what I wanted to, if I wanted to drop all the other things that I need to do and that I need to stay on top of, to chase somebody else's, you know, broken down husband, and because I was like, sometimes I'd be wanting to say, ain't nobody interested in your tired ass husband. I mean, seriously, if you knew the people that I was, that I've encountered, and the women and their husband, you be thinking, I be thinking, baby, you good, you know, don't nobody want him but you, and it seems like you don't even want him. So why do you think I want him? But I digress. But so yeah, and then which is another thing about my friend. It was like, it wasn't just the fact that she told me she was a witch, because to be honest with you, I really didn't care, because like I said, our relationship, we weren't joint at the hip. I felt more of a friend to her husband than I did to her. But the fact that she was a witch, that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. It was the combination of being a witch along with all the other stuff that I didn't like about her. The continuous lying, the drama, and the sneakiness. That's another thing. You probably want to stay away from sneaky people. I mean, to each his own, but I'm going to tell you, I don't like sneaky, underhanded people. I'm not claiming to be a saint or anything like that, but, whatever I'm going to do, I pretty much just do it out in the open. I don't like sneaky, double-handed, underhanded type of people where you have to always, everything that fall out of their mouth, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because you don't know if they're just lying. And then the instigation of drama. I don't like drama at all. And I think that's one thing, because a lot of people, I mean, I guess there's some truth to it. People tell me I look younger than I actually am. And I would say I agree with that to a point. But I think everybody, once we reach a certain age, we don't always look our age. We have just, some days are better than others. I think some days I look like I'm 58, and some days I look like I'm 48 or whatever. And but I think if I do look a little younger than I actually am, it's because I like peace and quiet. If you're gonna be my friend, you're gonna have to be, kind of like on the chill side with me. You don't have to be my identical twin, but you know, I don't like somebody that's always creating problems on purpose. And because it takes away time that you could be spending on real problems. Problems that, resolving the issue of needing more money, or resolving the issue of, fixing your car or getting your car fixed or whatever. You can be dealing with real issues, taking better care of your kids, um, enhancing your wardrobe. It's just, I don't even know what bored is. I'm not bored enough to waste my time on unnecessary drama. So when she told me she was a witch, that's when it dawned on me. See, because I'm the type of person that I really don't care about much, not much affects me. I realized then I should have stopped, you know, being friends with her and stopped seeing her years ago, because it was just always a accident waiting to happen. Being her friend, I liked her. I actually loved her. I loved her because she was like one of the few friends that I had, and we did have, there were some good aspects to our relationship, and so I kind of wish that no, I don't. I don't really wish anything. It happened the way it did. Actually, nothing happened. I just went my own way. I just stopped. Because she, up in age, so she couldn't do much traveling like I can, and I'm stopping by there, especially after her husband passed away, and then shortly after that, she told me she was a witch, and so I'm like, more power to you, but that was as they say, that was my cue to exit. Go ahead, cut the relationship off, because being around the wrong person, the wrong type of people, can have a very negative effect on your life, and you don't want that. People, they bring in different, if they bring in negative, if they have negative spirit, they're going to bring that into your life. And then it's just a matter of time. And just like with her, she wanted to bring negativity into my life. And which is another thing I wanted to mention before I go to sleep. I've had people talk about me, and then, I don't know, when you gain a certain insight, and I think some of my insight comes from being well traveled, and I think once you become of a certain age, you kind of start reading people. You can kind of tell when somebody is under different influence, or they believe like a lie about you, even if they don't tell you, but you can just tell by the way they act or the way they talk, and just different elements where you get pretty good at it, I believe. I think most people, I know I'm pretty good at it, but I think most people, if you grow and mature into a well-rounded adult at some point in your life, you get real good at seeing what people to be bothered with and what people you don't need to be bothered with. But I noticed another thing about I would call her my former friend. I won't say ex-friend, because we didn't part harshly. I just let it dissolve. When she told me she was a witch, And, and I realized, plus her husband had passed away, which was in my mind, even though she never knew it, but in my mind, he was the primary friend and she was the secondary friend. But once he passed away, and because I knew she had a thing for lying and drama from the beginning, but that's when she told me she was a witch, I just said, it's really, I should have just cut this loose, cut this friendship off, because, oh, another thing, she would tell me negative things that other people said about me. Because even though I could pick up on different things, most people that were that speak negative of me, they don't actually speak negative to my face, like most people do. They'll go around and they'll tell 20 different people something negative about you, make up something or exaggerate something or whatever, but they don't actually say it to you directly. And so, but without any type of information, I knew what was going on, but no one ever said anything directly to me. And when they did, it was always, like in a disguise type of way, But there were many times where she would just directly tell me, specifically what somebody said about me and stuff like that. And like I said, I think it's my fault. I think it's a negative thing about me to not care about, it's like I almost don't care about, outside of myself and outside of my family and outside of my God. It's like I don't really care about anything else. So it's like when you tell me something negative, if I'm just there to have a glass of wine and, watch the baseball game or whatever, it's just, I don't let a whole lot of things affect me. But I should have let that affect me, because the question is, when someone brings negative information to you, you must ask yourself, even if you don't say a word to them, even if you don't respond, you must ask yourself, why are they telling me this? If it's not doing any good, I mean, like, let's say a used car dealer, is cheating people out of thousands of dollars. Okay, that's some good information. That can help me. That lets me know to maybe do business elsewhere, or be careful. Be careful if I do decide to do business with that person. I can see where that could be constructive information. But to just tell your friend that somebody think that you was with their husband or something like that, why? And she's not asking me the question. She wasn't asking me when she bring these negative things to me. It wasn't like she was asking me to confirm whether it was true or not. She just wanted to tell me that someone said something negative about me, because that was the type of person she was, which made her that type of friend. So like I said, it was my fault. It was negative on my part that I just let so many things go and not care about it. Because even to this day, I don't care about it, but she don't need to be around me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video, because you have to be very selective about the people you let in your life. It may not go sour today. It may not go sour for a year or 2 years, 3 years, but eventually they probably going to have a negative effect on you some type of way. And why deal with it? Life is hard enough, you know. In fact, a lot of people got it hard now. You know, a lot of people are losing their apartments, they losing their houses. A lot of people can't afford the gas prices right now. You know, so it's almost funny, but it's too sad to be funny that it's not even an individual thing. You know, because when you're going through problems individually, you know nobody cares. You know nobody cares. You know nobody cares about you and your little world. But when the whole United States is in turmoil, that is rough. But at the same time, it really don't make a difference. It don't make a difference to the individual, because hard times is hard times. You don't care if 10,000 other people have the same problem or just you. It's still the same thing. If they say 100,000 people can't pay their rent, the only person that it affects is you. You know, because you're in company of 10,000 other people, it doesn't make you feel any better. It doesn't enable you to pay your rent, you know. And so life is hard enough. You don't need negative people around you unnecessarily. You know, if you don't work with these people, if you don't live with these people, stay away from these people. And even if you do work or live with these people, start making arrangements to move away from these people. You get as much negativity out of your life as you possibly can. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And just get the negativity out of your life. And also, you don't owe anybody anything, you know. And I think that's another thing. I'm not going to go into it right now because I need to go to sleep. But you don't owe anybody anything. And I think that's one of the how would I put it? Like emotional traps that women fall into. You know, they think, well, I want people to like me, and I don't want to make this person upset or anything like that. You know what? I discovered it. It's been a while, but I would say something like 30 years ago, I realized that for you to live your best life, 99.9% of the time, you're going to have to make some people mad. It's just a fact of life. You're going to have to piss some people off. But that's why I say, if you don't remember anything else about this long, ridiculous video, remember, you don't owe anybody anything. And if I owe you $20 or if I owe you $100, I'm going to make sure I give you your money, give you whatever I owe you, and walk away. And how you feel about it after that, I don't care. Because I feel like I don't owe anybody anything. You know, if you're trying to be my friend and I deem us not compatible, we're not going to be friends. You know, I'm not going to be rude to you. I'm not going to be mean to you. But you're going to catch the hint. And if you don't catch the hint, I'll just flat out tell you. In fact, I'll give you just one more example before I go. It was this one guy. We just ended up at the library at the same time. A coincidence, if you will. Now that I think about it, I really don't think that was a coincidence, but that was the first time I met him and talked to him. And, we had a decent conversation. But during the conversation, I kind of picked up a few things that he had said that rubbed me the wrong way. But nevertheless, we exchanged numbers. But as I thought about it later, afterwards, I was like, it seemed like he was like on a mission, and he was trying to, tell me that, he was a gospel singer, and oh, I can't even remember because we weren't talking about anything high tech or anything important, but we just had some casual conversation. But he had a little bit of this, a little bit of condescending, and he was like talking to me like he was on some type of mission or something. I could just tell. And so after I got home, he had texted me, and I had texted him back, and then he had said something that rubbed me the wrong way, and so I just didn't I didn't bother to respond anymore. So to me, it's like, okay, there's your hint right there. If you text somebody, you just met somebody, and you text them, and they text you, and all of a sudden the texting stops, and they don't respond to your last text. They don't respond at all if you text them more than once. Then there you go. You don't need any further confirmation. It's they don't want to have anything to do with you, or they don't want to build a friendship with you. And so the next time I was in town, I ran into him, and I don't know, I can't really put it into words, but he was like acting like, okay, I had spoke to him one time at the library. The second time I met him, he was acting like, we had been knowing each other for years or something, which made me wonder, okay, what is your real objective? Because it's not just friendship. It's more than just, I mean, it's not even trying to get some kitty or something. It was something else going on with him. But anyway, I'm not in Presidio that often. But so the third time I saw him, he was, presumptuous is one of the words I was trying to think. Presumptuous, trying to act like he know me, and he know what I need and what I need to do and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh wow, all my life, I've been waiting for a friend to come along and, and tell me, how I need to run my life and what I need to do, wow. It only took 58 years, but wow, I'm being sarcastic. And, but anyway, he rubbed me the wrong way again. So the second time he rubbed me the wrong way, see, I don't like for people to rub me the wrong way, especially, when I'm out, I'm minding my business, you don't have to talk to me at all, and I don't have to talk to you. So why I'm going to talk to you, and, but he had that kind of condescending attitude. And I think he thought he was being more clever than he actually was, at least in my case. So, the third time I saw him, he was talking to me, like I was getting ready. I was pulling away in our van. I was pulling out the parking lot, and he kind of ran up to the van, and like he had something to say, and so I just stopped, trying to be polite. And see, that's another thing. Whenever you find yourself talking to somebody, or you're talking to someone, and you have no interest, you're just strictly trying to be polite, you probably need to go on ahead and tell them, just cut to the chase, because, I mean, I believe in being polite as much as the next guy, but with women, men will act like they don't catch the hint sometimes. Not all times, but sometimes you'll have that guy that, act like he don't catch it. You're not called, you're not returning his calls, you're not returning his texts. When you do see him, you say hi, but you busy, you got somewhere to go. They're not catching it. Or at least they're acting like they're not catching it. So, he was telling me, I know sometimes you just want a hug or a kiss or something like that. I'm like, see, I almost said something. But I'm like, you don't know me. I'm saying to myself, I'm just letting him talk at this point. I'm just saying in my mind, I'm like, this guy don't know me, you know. And if I do need a hug or a kiss, it I'm not what's the word? I have more options than with him. It don't have to be him. And if I was interested in hugging and kissing him, he would know it. He wouldn't have to try to convince me that I need a hug and a kiss. So you know, it was just all. This is the type of stupid dialogue I was subjected to. So I had actually left the park because I told him I have to go. Because actually, I did have something to do, but I didn't even want to talk to him again after the library incident. I had no interest in speaking with him again. And but he for the third time he showed up where I was, and I don't like it when people overdo it. You know, try to act like we're more acquainted with each other than we actually are. You know, and I think sometimes men in particular, they do that trying to impress upon other people that they know this woman, you know, possibly intimately or something like that. But nevertheless, once again, he had rubbed me the wrong way. And so I went to the laundromat, I put some clothes in the dryer, and then I came back to where I was and where he was at the auto parts store. And the reason why I came back as fast as I could, because I wanted to tell him, you know, because I didn't want to have another incident with him. I didn't want to have another encounter with him. And so when I got inside the parts store, I saw he was still there. I'll say good, because I didn't want to go home having not have told him what I had to say. And I walked up to him, and I was smiling. You know, I wasn't angry or anything, but I asked him to do me a favor. And he said, yeah, what is it? I said, do not speak to me again. And he took it well. You know, and it was funny because I was so serious about not speaking with him again that I didn't even care what his reaction was going to be. You know, I mean, I didn't think that I had to, I didn't think I had to worry about him getting violent or anything, or, you know, or saying something stupid or getting angry or arguing or something like that. I didn't feel like he was that type of person. But I wanted to make it crispy clear, like the little games that he was playing or whatever that he was trying to stir up, whatever it consisted of, do not speak to me again. And he pretty much, you know, I must admit, he took it well. He smiled and he said, oh, okay. And I think he told a little joke about, well, you know, if I see you again, you know, I'm just going to keep walking, you know, something like that. But he, you know, didn't appear to be angry or anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was disappointed. You know, I don't feel like he knew me well enough to be hurt. But it has to be disappointing when you're pursuing somebody, whether it's for friendship or romantic interest or whatever, and they tell you not to speak to them again. But see, I wanted to nip it in the bud because I don't want a person changing my mood. I don't want a person having an effect on my spirit, and at least not a negative effect on me unnecessarily. And that's what he was doing. He was having a negative effect on me, and I don't know what his agenda was, and I wasn't interested in finding out. So I just told him, you know. And I feel like when that might be kind of extreme, but to be honest, it didn't feel extreme because he wasn't a genuine person. He was, you know, he had some type of objective. And like I say, I know when a person wants to pursue a friendship with me. I know when a person is just trying to get some kitty cat. I know when a man is, just playing games or whatever. But he has some type of, and it might have been a combination of different things. That's true. That it might have been a combination of different things. But his little condescending attitude, like he knew something, about me, or like he can see through me or something like that. He knew what I needed. He knew what I wanted to do. That in itself was aggravating me. That in itself is what I call rubbing me the wrong way. And he just seemed like he thought he was smarter than what he actually was, and he definitely wasn't handsome enough to hold my attention any longer than he could hold my interest. So that was that. But sometimes you have to, you might, hopefully you don't have to be that direct with people. But hey, if it comes to it, it just comes to it. I've had men try to invite themselves to, our ranch out here. I'm like, and you have to forgive me because I don't, sometimes when I say things in a video and it sounds like that I actually said it to the person, a lot of times I'm thinking in my head when I'm interacting with a person. Because like, I've had guys like just invite themselves to my house. And in my mind, I would say, are you kidding me? How rude, because it puts you in a position where you have to tell them, look, it puts you in a position where you have to be stern with them. It puts you in a position where you have to be unpleasant with them by telling them that they cannot come to your house. And I think that's part of the game because they know that it puts you in an awkward position that you don't want to be in. So in some cases, and that probably in many cases, the woman kind of like just go with it. Or maybe sometimes she would just go with it, go along with it. But no, if it's someone that I definitely don't want to be bothered with, and like I said, I'm the type of person, and this is how I was raised as well. You don't just drop in on people, And I noticed, especially since we've been here in Texas, that men, they try to create a rapport where they can just, or a rapport or a situation where they can just drop in unexpectedly. I had I had another guy said that he was growing some watermelon. See, people offer me food once again. He was growing some watermelon, and in a couple of months or something, the watermelon will be ready, and he's gonna just take it, just go around to the different neighbors' houses and drop off watermelon. Okay, first of all, if I want watermelon, I can go to the grocery store and buy it. Thank God. I can buy my own watermelon. Second of all, see, out here in the desert, the mountains, whatever you want to call it, everybody is like 5-7 miles separated, apart from each other. 5-7 miles away from each other. Okay, so just so you have the picture, you don't just drop in on people in the middle that live in the middle of nowhere. You just don't do it. For safety reasons, people don't allow it. I didn't do it, and I didn't allow it when I lived in major cities. But definitely out in the middle of nowhere, most people, maybe they might have one or two friends or some family members that they allow that. But like for the most part, they don't want people just dropping in on them. because if something jump off, then they're going to have to handle it. So just to be on the safe side, it's a safety issue. And I think a lot of people mistaken people that live in Texas to, like be these rough, militant type of people. No, no. Especially for the most part in major cities and things like that, where you run into a lot of different type of people. They're just nice, simple people, but it's a safety issue. It's different. They have different customs for safety reasons, you know. And then it's as hard as it is. Okay, just imagine you're a husband and wife, and you live in your house. You and your husband, or you and you and your spouse, and it's 105 degrees. People, when they're at home and it's 105 degrees, yeah, they got the air conditioning running and things like that. But also, a lot of times people are half dressed. So, a man is not going to want just people just dropping by and seeing his wife half dressed. And a wife, she's not going to want, well, probably she don't care. But I'm just saying, everybody don't want to be seen half dressed. Just because you might be friends or whatever. But but that's why it's good to deal with like-minded people that you don't have to explain everything to. So I just want to say that just remember, particularly for the ladies, you don't owe anybody anything. You can, if somebody's trying to be your friend or trying to be your boyfriend or whatever, and you're not interested in it, you can be nice about it, but you have to be firm about it as well. In some cases, you have to be firm about it, and don't feel bad about it. And because I was surprised that I didn't feel bad about it, because it's been so long since I had to be that direct with a person. But I wanted to make sure, by no uncertain terms, that he had any kind of misunderstanding. I didn't want him to approach me and tick me off again. So I felt like, that it had to be done, and it's good to put things where they need to be. So, don't let anybody waste your time. Don't let people invite themselves to your house. And see, in women, I'm going to have to do another video too about, the lack of respect that women get. And it's not a blatant disrespect, but it's like the lack of regard. Because, like, if I had a husband, currently had a husband, well, yeah, naturally, a lot of people wouldn't be trying to talk to me. But also, well, it wouldn't, okay, let's not even say it's a husband. Let's just say my brother, an older brother or something like that. People just show you more respect. People have more regard for treating you appropriately when they know there's a man somewhere in your atmosphere. They do better business with you. Because if my brother lived here, it wouldn't even be an issue. They wouldn't be worried about being confronted by my brother, because the disregard wouldn't happen in the first place. Because in the back of their mind, they know I have a brother or a husband, that will take over the transaction where I left off. So when you're a single female living in a very, and I do mean very, I don't use adjectives very often, but when you live in a very chauvinistic, male chauvinistic area, they have very little regard for women here. And trust me, don't even bother with taking it personal, because they have very little regards for their own women. So if you come from different places, where a lot of people are coming from different places here to live here in Texas, and if you're used to men being, a little nice to you, a little kinder, you're probably going to be in for a rude awakening here in Texas, especially and when I say Texas, I don't want to condemn the whole state of Texas, because Texas is a very, very huge state. But Southwest Texas, they have very little regard for women, and I found that to be true across the board, not just the Mexicans, but the Germans as well. They have very little regard for women. But if I had to pick between the two, the Germans will help you sometimes. They will be friendly towards you sometimes. They will be civil towards you sometimes. And German women too. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to sleep. I promise. The German women, they most of the time they don't speak English very well, or they speak broken English, but they're very loving women. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what inspired them, but I've had several incidents over the years where the German women have given me money, just walked up to me and insisted I, take $20 from them, $10, $40, and so I don't know where that came from. Usually, when I have interactions with people, I kind of know, I have a good idea where it stems from. I know that they were, they weren't being mean about it. I know they wasn't giving it to me as an insult. I know it came from a sweet place, but I don't know why. But I think I don't know. I don't even want to speculate, because that is like one of the few things in my whole life, almost, especially since I would say 30 years old. I would say that I